You've already met the worst kinds of NightReign players, rage quitters, the frauds, the spammers that make you want to uninstall. But what about the ones that actually make the game better? The players who turn a brutal Night Lord run into something unforgettable. Today we're talking about the 5 best type of NightReign players that'll make your day. From the brainiac strategist who sees every move before it happens, to the Parry God who makes even Wolf jealous. These are the teammates you want in your squad, and trust me, by the end, you'll be wishing you queued with one of these legends every time you play. Every lobby has that one player who could absolutely roast you for being trash, but instead, they become your Mr. Miyagi. This is the Patient Sensei. They see you whiffing combos, mistiming dodges, and yes, drinking flasks at full health. And instead of uninstalling the game on your behalf, they teach you. They'll calmly walk you through boss patterns like Obi-Wan Kenobi teaching Luke how to use a lightsaber. Dodge here, parry there, now hit that weak spot. Suddenly, you're playing better. Not because you got good, but because you had your own fighting movie training arc mid-match. I've had to take this role several times in many games, but the biggest challenge I had was following the patient part of said challenge. This was literally with a friend of mine named, let's just call him the Crimson Chin. He is very new to gaming, and for some strange reason, I was his reason. He wanted to start gaming on the PS5 with Elden Ring and Nightriegn. And several different times he asked me how to do simple things like how to lock on enemies, how to two-hand a weapon, how to sprint, and so on and so forth. And with the patience of one who has a toddler running around their house, I slowly, and several times, coached him through these things one at a time, until he disappeared and never played with me again. Like, what the hell, man? I know you're watching this video. Get on the damn game with me again before you take your trip to Japan this year. Getting back to the topic at hand, it's not just mechanics. The sensei will explain weird NightReign systems you didn't even know existed. Like you thought relics are just shiny rocks. Nope, Sensei already knows which ones to grab after the run and how they'll shape your whole next cycle. They're basically your personal wiki, except way less judgy. By the end of the run, you feel like you've leveled up in real life. The Patient Sensei doesn't just carry your team, they build your confidence. And let's be honest, sometimes that's way harder than killing the Night Lord. With the Patient Sensei, it's all in the name. You don't even have to be better than everyone that you're playing with. You just have to know a few tips to make those playing with you better by telling them. So go learn a couple of obscure facts and tips, like, did you know if you attack Gladius while he's stalking you with the sword in his mouth, you make him significantly stronger? Yeah, don't do that, and you'll be right on your way to being this player. Every squad has that one player who doesn't even pick up the controller until they've already mapped out the next 3 fights in their head. That's the Strategist, the brainiac who plays NightReign like it's a giant chessboard. While the rest of us are rushing headfirst into the storm, this player is already 10 steps ahead, acting like a real-life L from Death Note. They know which bosses are worth burning your old son and which routes keep the team alive. The other day I was playing with a couple of friends. If you've been on the channel long enough, you know both of them, and me and Crusader got into a bit of a disagreement on where to go. He wanted to run all the way across the map to get a church or some shit, wasting all the potential drops between us and there. I, on the other hand, still wanted to get the church before the end of day 1 collapse. However, unlike him, I also moved us through a couple of camps and an Evergoal, getting us to a way higher level before the first night boss spawned. This continued on as day 2 started. Crusader again wanted to go fight bosses and grab items on the opposite side of the map. The problem? We had activated Nakatella, and I was not about to waste it, not when we had Tricephalos waiting as our day 3 boss. So I pushed hard, and the Shadow Kage backed my claim. Not only did we beat Estelle, but we also duped our weapons, and got to take out the Dragonkin soldier. By the time we were going into the day 2 boss fight, we were already level 15. Alas, sometimes, no matter how good you plan, without prior knowledge of a boss fight, we failed hard. But at least the planning was solid throughout the whole run, even if it was a bit rough at times. Sometimes though, it feels less like you're playing a video game and more like you're just pawns in the galaxy-brained master plan. The crazy part? They make you better without even you realizing it. Half the time you're just following their calls, but then suddenly you're pulling off plays you didn't even know you had in you. The strategist doesn't just carry the team. If you get one, make sure you follow them, because they elevate the whole squad to a better playing ability just by being there. While he's the easiest to understand, telling you how to be this type of player is hard. On one hand, a person can learn chess, but on the other, 99.9% of us will never be grandmasters, and that's what it feels like watching the strategist. The best I can give you is plan at least 2 different optimal paths per landing, and hope you have the mind to be able to switch at a moment's notice. Have you ever queued into NightReign and suddenly feel like you're a background character in Sekiro 2? Yeah, that's what it's like playing with the Parry God. This player lives, breathes, and dreams parries. They lock in Executor every time, and I swear they must have had their controller hardwired to the enemy's internal code. While you're panicking and rolling around like it's Dark Souls 1, the Parry God is just standing there, timing deflects so clean that they make Virgil from Devil May Cry look sloppy. I've only run into these guys a couple of times. The most I really get is Crusader playing a passable version. When we do randoms these days and an Executor locks in, I know one of 2 things is about to happen. Either disappointment, or I'm about to be a damsel in an early era Disney princess movie, because this dude is about to sweep me off my feet and force me to try to marry them. All jokes aside, and with much more disappointment, these guys are always like ninjas, because I'm never actually set up to record when they appear in a lobby. And let's face it, I'm just not that guy. And to top it all off, if you didn't get enough DMC references earlier, then these are also the guys that like to build up that damn style bar all the way up to S rank. Boss winds up a giant world-ending attack and nope, perfectly deflected. With that little bit of just-in-frame flair to make you feel like you're the sidekick in their highlight reel. Sure, sometimes it's infuriating, like, thanks man, I did want to contribute to this fight, but let's be real. The Parry God carries games. They don't just win fights, they make bosses look like training dummies, and if you're lucky enough to have one on your team, you'll feel like you just got a free trial to Sekiro Shadow of the NightReign edition. To be a Parry God, all you have to do is thousands of practice attempts. There's nothing over the top here, just learning the tells of every enemy in the game. If you want my advice on how to, well, start with a basic enemy and work your way up and know all of the parry windows, and you too will soon be untouchable. Sometimes the best teammate isn't the strongest, it's the one who shows up when nobody else will. This is the friend. They may not be the Parry God or the strategist or some NightReign legend. In fact, they might be the reason you're screaming, "Why are you running?" at your screen. But here's the thing, when it's 2 AM, your last 2 runs ended in disaster, and you're on the verge of deleting the game, they're the ones who send you an invite, or join yours. They're not here to sweat the mechanics, however they are here to keep morale alive. It's like having 𝐜𝐨𝐬𝐴𝐷𝐿 in the party. Frodo might be carrying the ring, but Sam's carrying the emotional support burden. Sometimes, that's worth more than any perfect dodge or legendary drop. And sure, they might accidentally pull aggro on the Night Lord, or roll themselves right off a cliff. But when everyone else has logged off, the friend is still there cracking dumb jokes, taking the loss with you, and making sure the run doesn't feel like a damn 9-to-5 job. Because here's the truth, you don't remember every win in NightReign, but you remember the nights where the friend kept you laughing through the losses. They may not carry the team mechanically, but they carry your sanity. And in this game, that's the real win condition. There is not a simpler player to be in any game, obviously. This one transcends gaming. Just being the awesome guy that others can count on while they're feeling low can help in games and in life. So, just like I always say, be good to each other and be a friend. Do you guys remember the Pathfinder from the last video? The guy who always knows the fastest route, the sneaky shortcuts, the little secrets? Well, meet their final form, the Master of Whispers. These players don't just find secrets, they practically own them. Somehow, they always know where legendary drops are bound to appear. You're standing there debating which path to take, and they're already like, nah, turn left, roll into that floor. It's an illusion, trust me. It's like they've got an army of little ravens feeding them intel. Game of Thrones fans, you know exactly where this is going. They're basically Varys in a NightReign lobby. Except instead of whispering political intrigue, their birds are telling them which chest is about to cough up a god tier talisman. And the worst part, they're never wrong. And you think they're bluffing until you crack open a chest and boom, legendary item, right where they said it'd be. At that point, you just stop questioning and just follow them like a lost puppy. Running with the Master of Whispers feels unfair, like you're speedrunning with the dev's own playbook. But there's a catch. If you don't listen to them, if you ignore their little quiet, "Don't go that way" whispers, congratulations, you just doomed the whole run. And then they don't raise their voice, they don't rage, they just hit you with that disappointed silence. And honestly, that's worse than a rage quit. There is only one way to be this player, really. You gotta go all out into the Pathfinder category. Go watch all the how-to guides, data mine if you can, and just know every small detail so you know where to go and what to do in every seed. And that's a wrap on the 5 best types of NightReign players that can literally make your day, or at least save your sanity during a brutal 3-day run. If you've got a Master of Whispers in your crew, cherish them. If you've got a Strategist, lean on them. And if you've got a Parry God, well, make sure you're ready to look like a complete amateur right next to them. Now I want to hear from you. Which type of NightReign player are you? And which one do you absolutely need on your team to survive? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And hey, if you want to support the channel and get access to exclusive content, member-only videos, and behind-the-scenes chaos, consider joining the membership. Plus, if you want to hang out, swap strategies, or just roast each other's favorite night fares, we've got a Discord where the community is just as chaotic as a 3-day match. Links are down in the description. Hit that like button if you've ever been carried by one of these legends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, be good to each other. See you in the next video. Peace.